So I just want to start with just explaining what the word loud means, in case you didn't know. Ear-splitting, raucous, strident. That's one thing, loud. So you're living out loud. Next one, capable of producing much noise. So let's just see how good you are at that. Ready? Go. Lisa Johnson, I didn't even see your mouth open. And you're like, Okay. But you live out loud, right? You're loud. I've heard you be loud. Very loud. I could make you stand up and show them how loud you could be, but you wouldn't do that, so there you go. Okay, then. Yes, really, Cece did it. Cece's loud. That's right. Okay. So, and then the last definition, which is the one I really want to get to. With a great deal of volume. With a great deal of volume. Now, what it really means is with a great deal of energy. Do you live your life with a great deal of energy? Do you live raucously with the energy that you are? Do you take all that energy that you are and live it out loud? Good question. Just give a thought to that. So, over the weekend, we had a great New Year's celebration, Kevin and I, in the desert with a bunch of our members from the center, John Livesey and Oscar and Scott and Jose, who take us all to Guatemala, Sharon Kelly and her wife Pat, Sharon's on our board, she's the secretary. So we had a really great time. And so when you put when you put that many mental scientists together, you know, the conversation tends to go very deep. And it was really a great New Year's Eve because the conversation was just so rich and deep. And the way I like to leave a year, which is, you know, really thinking about important things. So Jose, on New Year's morning, asked us this question. He said, will you all play this game with us? And we were like, sure. And so he asked the question, and it ends up being Daniel Sullivan's question. And it's a really provocative question, and so I thought I needed to come in here today and bring this up. But I, of course, have my own version of this question. So first I'm going to read you what Daniel Sullivan's question was. How many of you know this question? Oh, wow, that's good. None of you. This is good. Not a soul. Who's Daniel Sullivan? I don't know, but he asks this question every year. Are you ready? If we were having this discussion a year from today, and you were looking back over the year 2016, what has to have happened in your life, both personally and professionally, for you to feel happy with your progress? Oh, that's a good one. It is. So let's just put ourselves, we're on the first day of 2017, and we're looking back at 2016. So now what Jose asked us is, it's the next year, it's 2017. I want you to look back over 2016 and tell me what happened. Isn't that cool? And so it was very interesting to sit there and say, here's what happened. But you know how it's a little difficult too, because you keep being drawn into here's what will happen. Here's what I want to happen. Here's what's happening now that I need to change. This mindset that he asks us to step into is a mindset, it's what we teach here. It's a mindset that says, here's what I know. Not here's what I want to happen. So as we step into 2016, it is less important what you want to happen. It is much more important, what do you know will happen? And if it takes a little tricky question, like standing in 2017 and looking back over what happened in that year, so be it. But we are powerful-minded people who get to sit in our bodies and minds and say to ourselves, here's what I know. Now, I'm not saying we should all be writing out exactly, here's what happens in January, here's what happens in February. No, that would be ludicrous and crazy-making, because then you just try to make that happen. Because we all know we're here to let that thing in us live us. However, there is intentionality that we must step into for this new year. What's my intention for this new year? What am I willing to know in this coming year? So I looked back at the year and I said, well, here's what happened. And it's actually fun. You should all try this later today. get a friend or a partner, whatever, and just try it together. If you're at a party, try it. But try to stay in the mindset of going, well, what was easy was we were able to say, well, January 1st came along, we had this great breakfast, great brunch, because we were in the middle of it. That was easy. So we had this great brunch, and then blah, 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 and I was like, well, and the building sold, and we found this amazing new space, and it was just the most crazy idea for how church should be done. And somebody said, what was it? I went, I didn't get that far. But that's what it is. Right? So I don't have to know that. There's that within me that knows that. So what can you look at? What do you know? And here's what you end up finding out. You find out the things you want to do. You find out what you really want to happen. And then the most important question that shows up on this list for me. What will have to change for all of that to happen? Just give it some thought, but breathe. Try breathing. What's going to have to change? Because guess what? You're already changing as you're sitting here, right? Life changes us constantly because that's all life is. Life is an infinite progression of change. So what will have to change? Tomorrow morning I start BODS, and I've been working on it, obviously, and it could not come at a better time in my life. I have put out the promise there, best body ever in 2016. And there are things in my body that I want to change. And it's not just about getting to be the most muscular person I've ever been. It's not about that. It's not about being the perfect weight. I'm actually at the perfect weight for me. It's not about any of it. If I'm saying best body ever, it means everything works. I hear it all. I know what needs changing, and I change it. It means I do what is right for me to do, and I intend to do it. And then I do it. As Dr. Walker used to say, intention, don't tell me you intended to go to the movies if you didn't go. Because you didn't. If you intend to do something, really intend, intention always expresses. He says, if I intend to go to the movies, then I wake up, I decide to go to the movies that day, then I buy a ticket to the movie, then I go to the movie, then I buy my popcorn, and then I step into the movie, and then I sit down and watch the movie, and then I leave. Now I have intended to go to a movie. So your intentions are really not here as wishes and hopes. Your intentions are things that you decide. Here's what I know. So looking back on 2016, what happened? What was it like? And I want your minds to just run free. And you don't have to yell them out to me, but yell them out to yourself inside. What happened? What did this year provide for you? What did this year bring up? I love at our brunch, it was mostly couples. Was it all couples? It was all couples. And one of the couples said, I find 2016 made me more in love than ever with my wife. And that was just so beautiful. I was like, yeah, okay. She went after me, so I had not said that, but I thought it afterwards. More in love than ever. Why not? Don't you think 2016 can be the year that you are more in love with ever than yourself, with yourself? More in love than ever with everything about you. As Karen said, more in love with exactly what I see in the mirror. Not because I have just done something to change it so that I can love it. But no, just here I am. I said to Jason today, he did a beautiful meditation, and I said, good job. Then I went, wait a minute, good job. You're brilliant at this. Good job being you, Jason. Because that's really what it's about. Good job being you. Being your true, authentic self. There's something in you that is living you, that is in there saying, okay, it's a new year. What can we do this year? What new thing can you do this year? I love that exercise, looking back. And I got to tell you, I've still been doing it in my mind. I forgot to say that. Because this is what happened too. But it's so important not to say, this is what I want to happen. How many times have you said to yourself, here's what I want to do, and then not done it? Anybody? Raise your hand if you've ever done that. Now raise your hand, put them down. Now raise your hand if you did it in 2015. Raise your hand if you're going to do it in 2016. I have to think what I'm going to say about that now. That's okay. Because you probably know yourself. So I'm going to invite you to know yourself as someone else. Perhaps God. Know yourself as greatness. Amen. Right, and who's going to do the demanding? You are. You are. I am. And the demanding is not throwing a tantrum. When Karen said what her Scaredy Cat 202, what is it? 2.0. Scaredy Cat 2.0. I thought mine, it was like, I'm here to prove it, 1.1. You know, that's how I came out, as, you know, hyper puppy. Look at me, look what I can do! You know, and there's still a little bit of that left. But you know what? I'm kind of not doing it for you anymore. I don't do that for other people. I do it because there's something in me that wants to get out, that needs to get out, living out loud. So when I look back over 2016, I just see more growth, more life, more, and my word. Did you all pick your word for the year? Yeah? It's funny because as we went around the room and talked about our words, there were all couples. So it was interesting to see the words of the couples put together. You know, because you're traveling this road together. And Kevin's word was, can I share that? Sure. What was it? No, I know. Kevin's word was completion. Right? Completion. When he said it, he said, my word is, I want to complete things this year. I was like, is there something we need to talk about? Is our marriage complete? We're done? Wasn't it at all, was it? No. So, not at all. If anything, it's better and stronger and more vibrant than ever. Right?
That's how we see 2016.
That's right. Looking back on 2000, and because in 2016 we had this most amazing 25th wedding anniversary, right? Kevin took me to this amazing place. He planned everything. I didn't have to do anything. It was amazing. He just said, "Pack a bag, we're going." It was amazing. I loved that. That was so nice of you. Thank you. So, the problem is, Kevin's version of that is James threw this amazing party, right? So completion is his word, and my word was daring, is daring, as if I need to be more daring. But daring is the word. It came to me, and I kept arguing it down and saying, there's a better word. There's a more spiritual word. There's a more serious word. And I was like, daring. It's daring. You know what? I'm starting 2016 right on this stage in a one-man show that I've been writing for 10 years. I don't know how much more daring I can get in that moment. So, daring. But put us together, and you get daring completion. How about that? Daring to complete what you say you're going to do. Daring to complete. So you couples out there, when you're looking at your words, put them together and see where the global intention is for your union, for your marriage, for your relationship. And if you're not in a coupledom, if you're not with someone, then your word is your global intention. And when you look back over the year, you want to see that intention. You want to see that word. You want to see that that word was lived out loud from the energy that just keeps vibrating itself forward. So, the title of my talk today is not Living Out Loud. The title of my talk today is Living It Up. Living it up. How many of you feel that you live it up in life? Yeah. Good. Well, no. What are the rest of you doing? So, living it up. So, UP stands for, because of course, UP, unlimited potential. So I have to ask you today, are you living up to your potential? Are you living it up? Are you living up to who you are? If we can't walk around and say, I am God, and then have a bad time of it. unless you're just going to express God at that level. And guess what? You get to live God at any level you want to live God at. It's just energy. You get to live any way you want to live. You can choose in the infinite buffet of life, you can choose to have the day-old bread or you can have the feast. Which will it be? It's your choice. So, if you're going to live it up, living it up means living it, this energy, this divine self. Ernest Holmes calls God it, the thing itself. So, if you're going to live it up to the unlimited potential, you got to ask yourself the question, am I living up to my potential? And then, the second question on this list is, do you know what your potential is? Because that's a big part. If I say to you, you're living up to your potential, most of you will go and take a look at what you think your potential is. And I do not ascribe to those people who put people in boxes and say, there's that person's potential. They could live up to this. No matter where you go with that, you're putting a lid on it. So if you are going to live up to your potential as God, it means the sky's the limit. It means there's nothing that you should ever have to say, I can't do this. You can say, I choose not to do this. You can even say, someone's better at this. I'm going to hire them. Or you can say, you know what? If it's something I want to do, I can learn how to do it, and I'll do it brilliantly. Right? That's what you get to do. So right here and right now as you start this year, and next year as you're in 17 looking back, notice that in 2016, your potential skyrocketed. Your potential went through the roof. Things you thought you could never even begin to do, you were doing effortlessly. Because on that first Sunday when you went to Global Truth Center, that really handsome minister up there, who's having this amazing 25th wedding anniversary party, that man said something that said to me, I don't have to live like this. I can live like this. Yes? Yes. Okay, so that is, do you know what your potential is? And then the third and last question is this. Where does your potential come from? Where does your potential come from? Because very often I believe what we do is we say, I have unlimited potential, and we think of it out there. We think of this something out there. Something gave us unlimited potential. Well, nothing really gave you unlimited potential. You are unlimited potential. And you use it at whatever level you decide to use it at. How, Karen brought this up too, how many of you can look back at your life and look at all the people that informed you of what potential you had? Good, bad, or indifferent. When I look back, I see some people who basically, we're planning this show, and so I had to go back and read my yearbooks from senior year and junior year. And there's a picture of me. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a picture of me in my junior year. It's a class, the whole class picture. And I knew that I was small. I knew I was a tiny boy. I had no idea how tiny I was. I looked at that picture, and there are all these guys, and I was like 2'3" or something. I'm like in the front row, and they're all howling. And I showed the kids, my children, Will and Nora, and they were like, oh my God, how did you survive high school? Exactly. So, looking back and looking at that, and then I'm looking at what everybody wrote. Good luck, you're going to need it. Do you know how many people wrote that in my yearbook? I was getting depressed yesterday. I was like, I want to look up these people and see how they look today, because I look fabulous. But the other part was, I'm in the mirror. I'd just gotten out of the shower in the mirror, and I was like, the funny thing is, this is how I should have looked at junior year of high school. Right? So it's not bad, because I like looking like this now. But I'm reading all these things. Good luck, you'll need it. I hope you grow by senior year. Someone wrote that. I hope you grow by senior year. Another person said, good luck with the girls. Stay away from the boys. First of all, I don't know how they knew. But you go back and you read these things, and I was like, I had such love and respect for the little me Little me. That's a Broadway show, my first reference of the year. Right? I had such respect for this little guy. I was like, oh my God, I want to go back and talk to you and say, wait till you see what we turn into. And every one of you should go back to yourself at any time that you thought you were a scaredy cat and say, you know what? It's okay, because look what we turn into. There comes a day when we not only remember who we are, but we find out who we are with such passion that we start being who we are. We start remembering where our potential comes from. It comes from our DNA, our divine natural authority. To say to ourselves, I know who I am. I am infinite potential. I am unlimited potential. And I get to live it up. So as you step into this new year, as you really, really step into this new year, I have a question that I want to leave you with. And it's this. What's going to change? What's going to change in your life that will give you the life you deserve? What's going to change? Now notice I've changed it from what needs to change. What's going to change? Now you're all going to have a different answer to that. I have my own answer to that. What's going to change? I'm done saying what do I need to do. It must be time to say, what am I going to do? How are you going to live 2016? We're saying we're going to live out loud. We're going to be seen in 2016. But what do you want to be seen as? Who do you want to be seen as? What do you want to see when you look in the mirror? What are you willing to look at when you look at you? It's time for you to see you in 2016 and then fearlessly take you and just show it to the world. And do what you are here to do. Be who you are here to be. Have what you are here to have. Express what you're here to express without question and without apology. Being exactly who you are, because you are the perfection of God. You are that greatness on demand. And it's time for us to not only demand it, but to actually demand it of ourselves and say, I'm going to live my life this way, and I do, right here and right now. So 2016, time to be seen, living my greatness on demand. Those are great ways for me to say, I know how to be daring, and I know how to complete what I'm here to complete. Because I know who I am, and I know who you are. And if you forget who you are, come to me or any one of our practitioners. You come and we will tell you who you are without apology, and we will not let you walk away from us knowing anything other than that you are perfect exactly the way you are. Now get with the program, live the perfection, and watch as perfection comes right back to you. Namaste.